I'm all made up for the Morrigan with my war signs. So tonight we're going to be talking about the Morrigan. So I have some of my war paint on in her honor. You'll see me here, and I have my headdress, and I have my feathers on that you may or may not be able to see. I know many of you know that I've been a priestess of the Morrigan for quite some time. And she has been making herself known to me over the last couple months, big time. So I am going to get a little serious tonight. I have had many experiences lately with the Morrigan and her ravens. Early in March, I went to take my dogs out into the backyard, and on my electrical lines, on my shed, there were I don't know how many ravens, tons of blackbirds, squawking and screeching and diving up and down, not even paying any attention to my dogs at all. And the dogs, who would normally lose their minds, just sat there almost stupefied. So I took a deep breath and I said, oh boy, I know you're trying to say something to me, but I don't know what it is. The ravens have come to me many, many times before, and I've always known it was a response or a confirmation of some sort. But this time, I just didn't know. So I went back home in the house, took a deep breath, tried not to think about it. The next day, I went out to the store and I parked and I looked over at the car next to me, and 3 big black ravens swooped down on the hood of the car and would not stop screeching. So I slowly got out of my car, tried to get them out of my mind while I went into the store, knowing I wouldn't be able to get them out of my mind. When I left the store about 20 minutes or so later, there they were, sitting on the rail of where the carts normally go in. And this time, they were just quiet. They just sat there and stared at me. So I did the same thing. I just looked at them and began to move back very slowly and walk towards my car. By the time I got to my car, they were already there on the car next to me, which was now a different car, on top of that roof, just staring at me. And I have to tell you that I've had many experiences with the ravens, but they never fail to freak me out. Lou, you were too in your parking lot tonight? That's cool. So when I got home, I could feel that my glands were swollen and my ears were hurting. I thought, okay, they're trying to tell me to listen to my body, and I could feel that I was getting sick. So the next day I called my doctor, and they were not seeing any sick patients. They decided that they're not going to see sick patients. So I had to go to a walk-in clinic, and I was pissed, fuming. So I got to the clinic, and as soon as I got there and got out of my car, there they were, more ravens, louder than before, angry, sounding, message-bringing ravens. So I did have bronchitis, as some of you know. So sick or not, I decided I had to pay attention to this. So I went into my magic room. I sat there quietly and lit my Morrigan candles and a candle for the ravens. And I distantly remembered, somewhere deep inside of me, that there had been a voice, her voice, for quite some time, telling me something was coming. What exactly, I didn't know. A storm of some sort. That I knew. And here it is. And it came to me. all of a sudden, and I began to hear her words. We are at war. We are at war with an enemy that we cannot see. It is a very scary time in our history. Never, at least in our lifetime, has the U.S. shut down completely. At this point, Gaia appears to be healing as the human race sequesters in our homes due to this virus. The human footprint has already diminished enough that positive differences are seen throughout the planet. The Earth is fighting back, I think. She has had enough of us humans. The sad part is that there are so many of us that still do not know or understand that we are the issue. We are the problem. It is us humans who are slowly destroying the planet, and thereby ourselves. We are pagans, and I believe our time is coming. I don't believe that things can go back to normal. What was called normal was not working and will not work in the future. There are spiritual and metaphysical forces at work who don't give a rat's ass about our politics or anything else that's going on right now. The initial warnings are coming from a goddess of battle. There is going to be no quick fix here, she tells me. No silver bullet. This will not, she tells me, hopefully, be a shooting war, but one of valor. You know, lately, I'm seeing so many posts on Facebook, many among the pagan community that say, if you support this, if you don't support that, then unfriend me. Now, purity, people, is not a luxury we can afford right now. People who are actively working against us are our enemies. People who may have other priorities are not. Life is much more complicated than just one issue. Division is the tool of our enemies. If they can break us into 100 little groups, we will be easier to pick off one at a time. This is the time to build and maintain alliances, to build a formidable tribe. Our time to unite and stand up is coming. We pagans all over the world will hopefully be the start of a revolution. We must become educators, fighters, doers, and protesters to gain what needs to be done for Mother Earth and all her creatures, including ourselves. Or she will wipe us out. This is what the Morrigan told me. And honestly, I get goosebumps just reliving this whole thing right now. We have to create Gaia's army on the ground. We have to teach alternatives to what is now considered the norm. Thinking first of the planet's need to heal so that we may thrive. I truly believe she came to me because I was feeling overwhelmed. She came to me to help me get angry, something she has done many times throughout my life. This work will not be comfortable, she tells me, but this has to be done. If we cannot be in the trenches, then we have to stand together as allies. We will come out on the other side of this, she tells me, as long as we act. This is our time, the time of the pagans, the heathens, the tree huggers, the earth lovers, all spiritually inclined. Now is the time to practice what you preach, she says to me. The divinity of the biosphere, Gaia, and all she gives life to, our kith and kin. It is the time. It is coming to be the time to become spiritual warriors. Some of our ancestors, if not by blood, are Celts. They did what they had to do to deal with their reality, but remained committed to who and what they were. At this time, we can do no less. Do we love the earth enough and each other to fight back? Enough to focus our time, our minds, our attention, and our actions on the survival of the planet and our own species. Gaia has lit the signal fires, she tells me. Once again. She has many a time before throughout our history, but this is different. This time it's different because the earth is dying. Scientific evidence tells us she is dying. We have to open our minds and remember who we are, the power we have as a tribe. This is a time for us to actively be doing magical work on our own. It's not a cure-all. However, it will make us stronger. It will add energy to our immune systems. Practice magic in your yards. Send positive energy out into the world. And on the mundane plane, check in on your friends and family. This is real. It is not a dream. It isn't what any of us wanted, but here we are. So we must do it to cast the Celts and do what needs to be done. Remember that taking care of ourselves is important because we are going to need our strength, mental, physical, and emotional. This is going to be a long journey. We will take care of ourselves and take care of each other. We will make allies everywhere we can and enemies only when we must. When others make themselves our enemies, we will fight with everything we have, including our magic. Things will not go back to normal because normal was our own illusion. Will the gods be at our backs? Well, the goddess of battle has sounded the warning. So I say yes. That means we are on their side, and this gives me and should give all of us the confidence we need. To be totally honest, the birds have yet to leave. Every day they are in my front and backyards. As soon as I step out, they come swooping down and don't stop talking. Yesterday I counted 10 on my front lawn. This morning at 7, there were a slew of them in the backyard waiting for me. They just stared. They didn't make any noise. And I said, I understand. I'm doing it. I'm doing it tonight. And so now I hope the birds will have some peace. And this is my story, which I think may sound something along the lines of preaching. And if it does, I do apologize. But the Morrigan told me it needed to be said, and the words that I am saying are the words that I have heard from her. So next we are going to learn how to identify with the Morrigan. I'm going to read you a poem that pretty much, I think, puts it all together. Raise the flags and bang the drums. The time is come to answer her call. World gone mad, corrupt in power, we're counting down to final hours. Time to stand, to change our fate. Time is short, not long to wait. Wake up, children, time to act. It's time we faced the chilling facts. War is coming, hear her call. Stand up strong, fight, don't fall. Rich get fat while poor can't eat. It's time this system faced defeat. Our planet's plundered, poisoned, dying. No more time for governments lying. Get up and fight. Stand tall and proud. We'll show them this is not allowed. With Morrigan, the great queen, at our side. So right now, I'm going to light a candle for the Morrigan, which I wish you could see. It's black. It's in a beautiful crystal bowl. And I'm putting it over to the side. And I'm going to ask you to all sit back, relax, get yourselves comfortable, and get ready to go on a journey. So tonight we're going to work with the Morrigan. May she be with us and give us strength and courage in the future to come. So please sit back in your chairs or your sofa, get comfortable, Adjust anything that does not feel right. So everyone now, please close your eyes and let us begin by taking some deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. See yourself surrounded by white light and know you will be safe and protected. You find yourself walking on a grassy path. As it winds around, you see a huge mountain way down the path. The air is crisp and clean. The wind calls to you. All the trials you have faced were leading you to this moment. You continue walking, look up, and see a large raven circling in the sky. It keeps pace with you. You continue to get closer to the mountain, and at its foot, you see a large stone. You slowly move up to the stone. It calls to you to touch it. You feel an awesome power coming from the stone. The stone talks to you and tells you this is where the ancestors gathered to be one with the goddess. You reach out to touch the stone again and suddenly realize the sun is quickly setting. Dark shadows swirl around you and you begin to hear whispering. The echoes whisper your doubts and fears. These are the things that hold you back in life. At first, you don't recognize the voices, but soon you realize it's your own voice. The voices are your personal shadows. However, there is another voice in the darkness, and it whispers a tiny flame fighting to stay alive. You feel it in the core of your being. It whispers a name, Morrígan. You say it out loud. The flame goes stronger and the shadows back away. Again, you say the name, even louder, Morrígan. The shadows falter. A third time, you say the name, Morrígan. You shout it as you do, and the raven calls out with you. You look up and see the raven flying towards you. And as it gets closer, it starts to transform until a woman in regal armor stands before you. A feathered cloak across her shoulders and down her back. A sword in her hand. The Morrígan is a shapeshifter. She could be young or old, fierce or compassionate. She shifts and changes as the situation demands. Look deeply at her. What does she look like to you? I am no further than the beating of your own heart, she tells you. I am the flame that does not die, the bringer of victory, the warrior who will not yield to injustice, and I am in you. I shall walk beside you at every hardship. You are only to call my name, and I will be with you. But know this, it is you who must be my champion. It is you who must fight the battles. This is what this lifetime has placed before you. She places a hand on your shoulder. You close your eyes only briefly because you don't want to miss anything that she may do for 1 second. And you feel her power flow through you. The flame inside you ignites. The warrior spirit is alive within you. You have everything you need within you, she says. Become the hero. Become the warrior. Become the champion. The tip of her blade touches your shoulder as she says, claim your life. You blink, and she is gone. You look down, and you see you are wearing her armor. Whether you are male or female, it fits you perfectly. Her sword is in your hand. You feel the power of the goddess within you. Suddenly, the shadows begin to whisper again. However, you are different this time, and you face them. With the Morrigan sword, you charge into the darkness. You challenge your inner demons, and as each appears before you, you cut them down only until there is silence. The battle is won. The darkness begins to dissolve, and you find yourself at the foot of the mountain again. You reach out and touch the stone. And as you do, you whisper an oath to the goddess, as the queens and kings of old did, as our ancestors did, to take on the challenge, to claim your warrior strength. As you speak these words, you know you have become the Morrigan's champion. You take a deep, cleansing breath and begin to find your way back to where you entered, knowing you have been born anew, knowing you have openly accepted the challenge, knowing that in hard times to come, you, along with so many others, all Morrigan's warriors, spiritual warriors and battle warriors alike, you will stand up and fight. Your voice will be heard. Your force will be felt. Your tribe will grow stronger. You will become teachers, enforcers, advocates, guardians, leaders, all in her name. As you reach your home point, you realize the raven is still with you. You smile, turn, hold open the door. The raven enters with you. You are home, but transformed. You put up your sword, begin to stretch, and allow your body to slowly wake up to the mundane world. Allow yourself to relax once again and bask in her wisdom. You stretch again, arms reaching towards the ceiling of your home. And then you ease into your comfortable chair. The raven flies over to you, sits atop your shoulder, and you know this experience was real. There is only one way now, forward. Take your time, coming fully back to the present moment. Wiggle your toes. Gently move your legs. Stretch slowly and deeply. You are back. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes.